Rahil had mastered the art of making excuses. He always found a reason to delay what mattered: assignments, responsibilities, even dreams. Mornings began with snoozed alarms and ended with unfinished tasks. His room was cluttered, not just with books and wrappers, but with unfulfilled promises he had made to himself. "I'll start tomorrow" became his anthem, and slowly the weight of his wasted potential began to smother him. Deep inside, he wasn't dumb or incapable. He just couldn't break the grip of laziness. He wanted to do more, be more. But every time he tried, comfort wrapped around him like a soft, dangerous blanket. He convinced himself that there was still time. But time, unlike comfort, never waited. One evening, Rahil's father stood at the door, watching him lie in bed, scrolling his phone. His father's face was tired, not from work, but from disappointment. "Son, the world doesn't care about your comfort. It only rewards effort," he said before walking away. Those words echoed in his ears all night. For the first time, they stung. The world truly owed him nothing, and no one was coming to rescue him from his own inertia. That night, Rahil stared at the ceiling, wrestling with a thought he had always avoided. What if I never become who I was meant to be? The next morning, Rahil did something he hadn't done in months. He stood in front of the mirror and truly looked at himself. The reflection was of a boy with puffy eyes, weak shoulders, and the slouch of someone who had given up without even trying. He whispered, "You can't keep hiding." It wasn't dramatic, no music played in the background, but something inside him stirred. The mirror didn't lie. It showed him a version of himself that didn't match the dreams he once had. He remembered wanting to be a designer, a creator, a man known for excellence. But here he was, known only for delay and excuses. That same day, Rahil made a list, not of goals, but of habits that were killing his ambition. Waking up late, endless scrolling, skipping workouts, lying to himself. He highlighted one word across the top: laziness. Then he underlined it and added, "is your enemy." From that point on, he would treat it like a disease. He vowed to fight it every day, even if it screamed louder than motivation. That night, for the first time in years, he slept early, not because he was tired, but because he had a reason to rise. The following morning, Rahil rose before the sun. His body hated it. Every part of him screamed to crawl back into bed, but he forced himself out. He did 10 push-ups, then 20, then walked around the block. He didn't wait for motivation. He simply moved. That one act felt like a war won. His muscles burned, his lungs gasped, but his mind awakened. By 7 a.m., while the world was still yawning, he was sweating and alive. It wasn't about the workout. It was about reclaiming control. For once, he wasn't a slave to his mood. Each day after that, Rahil pushed a little harder. He built a routine, not perfect, but powerful. He filled a journal with check marks for every task he completed, celebrating small victories like cleaning his desk, making his bed, or finishing a chapter from a self-help book. He started living with urgency, not stress. The laziness that once ruled him now trembled under the discipline he was building. He began to understand a profound truth. You don't kill laziness with inspiration. You kill it with action, even if your hands are shaking. By the second month, Rahil faced his biggest enemy, not his schedule, but his mind. The voice inside him returned with doubt. "This won't last, you always quit." It mocked him during difficult moments. But Rahil didn't run this time. He answered back. "Maybe I failed before, but this time I choose to finish it." He wrote these words on his wall. Every time doubt tried to crawl back in, he stood up and moved, because motion silences fear. Rahil wasn't just changing his habits, he was rewiring his mindset. He also said no to distractions, toxic friends, and time wasters. He deleted social media apps that consumed hours. He limited entertainment and replaced it with learning. Podcasts on discipline, books about perseverance, stories of men and women who rose from rock bottom. Every story reminded him, greatness is not born from talent, it's born from persistence. Laziness wasn't just about not doing, it was about believing you didn't have to do. And now Rahil believed the opposite. If I want it, I must earn it. Rahil started applying his skills, learning graphic design from YouTube, volunteering for small projects, and even facing rejection when applying to freelance gigs. Each no stung, but he didn't stop. He reminded himself, this is the price of proving yourself. He failed to deliver on time in his first paid project, and the client was furious. But instead of making excuses, he apologized, fixed the work, and offered to redo it for free. The client was surprised and impressed. He gave Rahil another chance. That second project turned out so well that the client referred 2 more. With each stumble, Rahil picked himself back up faster. He stopped fearing failure and started respecting it. It became a teacher. Laziness feeds on fear, but action feeds on courage. Rahil didn't have more hours in the day than anyone else, he just used them better now. He no longer looked for easy paths, he looked for meaningful ones. And every evening when he checked off his goals, he felt something stronger than pride. He felt progress. That was a drug laziness could never match. There were days Rahil didn't want to try, days when the weight of it all crushed him. But on those days, he told himself, just one more email, one more push-up, one more video edited, one more design drawn. He learned that the winners in life aren't always the smartest. They're just the ones who don't stop at, I'm tired. Each time he went the extra step, his confidence grew. His energy became self-generated, fueled not by coffee or motivation, but by purpose. Soon, Rahil's work gained recognition online. His designs were reposted, his client list grew, and his inbox filled with requests. But more importantly, he grew. The boy who once wasted his time now taught others how to manage theirs. He launched a YouTube channel titled Prove Yourself and shared his story, not to boast, but to remind others that change is possible. Rahil wasn't special. He just decided to stop being average. He decided that one more was the difference between regret and results. By the time Rahil turned 23, his days were tightly structured, but joyful. He no longer needed alarms. His goals will come up. He no longer waited for motivation. His habits carried him. Discipline wasn't a burden anymore. It was part of his identity. The same boy who used to cancel plans now planned his days with precision. His old friends barely recognized him. Some distanced themselves, uncomfortable with his transformation. But Rahil didn't shrink himself anymore to make others feel tall. He started mentoring young men stuck in the same cycle he once was. He taught them that laziness isn't just lack of action, it's fear wrapped in comfort. He showed them how to break down big goals into daily battles. And every time he saw a spark light up in someone's eyes, he knew he was fulfilling his purpose. Rahil had not just proved himself to the world, he proved himself to himself. And in that victory, he found a truth deeper than any success. You don't find yourself, you build yourself. Rahil's success didn't come in a flash of fame or viral video. It came in thousands of ordinary moments, when he chose work over sleep, focus over distraction, effort over ease. And in those moments, he forged a life that felt like fire, burning bright, full of direction. He wasn't a genius or a chosen one. He was simply someone who woke up and refused to sleep through his life again. His room, once messy with regret, now carried journals, plans, vision boards, and books. The energy had changed, because he had changed. And whenever someone asked him, "How did you do it?" he smiled and said, "I killed laziness before it killed me. And I proved to the mirror that I wasn't born to waste this life." The greatest revenge he took wasn't on those who doubted him, it was on the version of himself that almost gave up. And now every sunrise whispered a different song, not one of delay, but of dominance. He had become the warrior who woke up and stayed awake.